being underreported in the mainstream or lamestream news media, depending on how you see the mainstream news media. There has been violence. There was violence that erupted yesterday and last night in Portland and also in Seattle. This is being reported in conservative news outlets such as Fox News and a couple like local Portland and Seattle news outlets naturally, right? Because it happened over there. But I want to know, why isn't this trending? Why isn't this a big thing? But this article is out of Fox News. It says Portland rioters damage ICE building. Police declare unlawful assembly, the so-called J20 protest, as in January 20th protest for, election inauguration. It says the so-called J20 protest was a demonstration against Biden and law enforcement. All right, it was against Biden and law enforcement, or so they say. Again, this is being reported from a conservative news outlet. All right, it says police declare an unlawful assembly Wednesday night in Portland, Oregon, after about 150 rioters caused damage to a federal immigration facility in the city, according to authorities. The unrest near the ICE Immigration and Customs Enforcement building was declared after rioters started throwing rocks and eggs and vandalizing the building located in the city's South Waterfront neighborhood, Portland Police Sergeant Kevin Allen said in a 10 p.m. update. We have, quote, we have observed property damage to the building, end quote, the Portland Police Bureau wrote on Twitter. Anyone who is involved in criminal behavior, including vandalism and graffitiing, is subject to arrest or citation. Okay, so that is really, really interesting. Let me know in the comments. Did y'all know about this? Did you all know that there was turning up yesterday while everybody was enamored with, Michelle Obama's hair and, people were wearing, Chuck Taylors and pearls and stuff. Were y'all aware at all that there was some rioting happening last night on an ICE facility? And there was some things happening in Seattle and Portland, right? And let me know if you did know, if you didn't know. And then also let me know why you think that other mainstream news media outlets aren't really reporting on this. And then I'm going to bring my special guest in just a moment. Stay, hold tight, special guest, hold tight. Now, this is a tweet. I kind of want to share my screen, but for some reason, my computer is acting a little bit slow. I may have to refresh this page. Allen, right, said individuals were seen carrying pepper ball guns, electronic control weapons, similar to stun guns, shields, fireworks, and rocks. He added that federal law enforcement used crowd control munitions. We know what crowd control munitions are, right? Rubber bullets, tear gas, flashbangs. Quote, this gathering may impact traffic and access into the neighborhood, Allen said. We'll continue to closely monitor this event. Now, as of early Thursday, which is today, police said they were standing by to, quote, address crimes in the surrounding neighborhood, and some arrests were made, although they failed to elaborate any further. Other cities saw some tension on Inauguration Day. Seattle witnessed property damage and objects hurled at cars. Reporters said demonstrators were protesting against President Biden and law enforcement and carrying a sign reading, abolish ICE. Now, Fox News is trying to say, according to this article, they're trying to say that, quote unquote, Antifa did this. I really don't know who or what the hell Antifa is. I mean, I can kind of suspect, and make inferences about what Antifa is and could be. I think it's supposed to be like a socialist far left organization. And the way that they're painted are those who are agent provocateurs. They go around, they destruct property and stuff like that. That's what people say about them. But also, I think Antifa could be like really, really strong anarchists. These are people who are against government, any form of government. They have some sort of ideology, like political ideology and agenda. And I do know that Antifa is closely has closely allied itself with Black Lives Matter, or BLM. Okay, I don't really know what's going on, but this is really, really interesting. There are photographs and things of property damage in Seattle as well as Portland. The article goes on to read that in Denver, protesters burned an American flag in separate demonstrations that reportedly involved members of the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as others who chanted anti-Trump and anti-Biden slogans. So these are some people who, are not Trump. They're not Trump supporters and they are not Biden supporters. They are anti-Trump and they are anti-Biden, according to this particular article on foxnews.com. I have to keep plugging that because it does matter where these narratives are going. I bet if CNN or MSNBC or CBS or somebody cover this stuff, it may sound a bit differently. Now, it says that authorities said earlier gatherings in Portland, which saw Antifa protesters clash with authorities as they gathered to voice dissatisfaction with President Biden, forcing officers to retreat and take at least one police bicycle, had ended. Okay, so I think they kind of squashed that. It says the Portland Police Bureau says several events were planned in the city just hours after Biden was sworn in and implored the nation to come together. About 150 people gathered at the Revolution Hall around 2 p.m. and marched to the headquarters of the Democratic Party of Oregon. Wow, Allen said. The so-called J20 protest was a demonstration against Biden and law enforcement. Interesting, because what I'm seeing all over most mainstream news media networks is like how pleased everyone is, right, with the new Biden administration. Shout out to everyone in the Lioness Den.